All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to break down the NBA action for you today. And the first matchup we're going to look at is between the Boston Celtics and the Chicago Bulls. But first, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can get the same odds that I have in this video. Otherwise, they will likely be different. Let's dive into the betting lines for this game first. The Boston Celtics are at home. With a spread of -14 at DraftKings, a money line of -1050, and an over/under total of 241 for the game for total points between them. On the flip side, the Chicago Bulls have a spread of +14, a money line of +675. Um, but we should definitely not bet the money line there, and the total, well, it could be a high scoring game because Bulls are typically in games that total goes over 240. Let's look at performance of the last 8 games for the Boston Celtics. They've been averaging 119.3 points per game with an offensive efficiency of 119. They're shooting 40.2% from three, attempting nearly 56% of their shots from beyond the arc, the highest in the league, and effective field goal percentage of 55.43%. Their assist percentage is high at 61.6%, but they've had a lower turnover rate of 11.16%. Defensively, they've allowed 110.3 points per game, with opponents shooting 40.12% from three. If we switch over here to the Chicago Bulls, they are putting up 121.1 points per game in the last 8 games, with an offense efficiency of 116.2. 3-point shooting has been less effective at 34.05%, but they've still been aggressive from deep with a 50.93% attempt rate. Their effective field goal percentage is at 57.95% with a high assist rate of 70.73%. On defense, they've been conceding 119.1 points per game, with opponents shooting 31.46% from three, though. Comparing these stats, Boston has a slight edge in offensive efficiency, but Chicago's defense has been less consistent, allowing more points. So we have the edge towards the Boston Celtics. Our current lineups for the Celtics so far, and you want to check these before you bet, obviously: Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Porzingis should all be playing, even though Porzingis is currently questionable for this game. For the Chicago Bulls, Giddey is questionable at point guard. Kobe White is playing. Levine's playing, who is coming off injury, so make sure he's still playing. Patrick Williams. But just remember, lineups can change last minute, so keep an eye on updates before you bet. And then if we look at our 1,000 simulations we ran of this matchup using last game's stats, the Boston Celtics have a 74.55% chance to win with a simulated spread of -7, which is lower than the -14. That is currently at DraftKings. The Bulls are at +7. The total points predicted are 235, which is below the 241 currently at DraftKings, with a game pace of 102.2 predicted. You'll see the stats colors of our game cards. For green is obviously better for your team, and red is obviously worse. But Celtics lead in several key areas where the only thing Bulls should have better here is the offensive rebounding rates. Using various models for predictions, we could see the Boston Celtics with the ESPN BPI spread in this game between them of -8.1, And a point differential spread, we would give them a -7, and an offensive and defensive efficiency spread of -7.3. My models like GPK, TrueD, and PPGA3 also give Boston the edge because they're ranked third in my GPK model, seventh for TrueD, and 22 though in PPGA3, which leans towards the Bulls there a little, having a closer score. Um, but they are definitely ranked as one of the best teams in the league, as their record shows. If we're basing this pick on the AI, it predicts the Celtics should cover the spread and win the game. But with a -14 spread, I'm not so sure there, and I would probably stay away from this game if you're betting the spread. But I don't know. All those spreads we had from different models, even ESPN's have it at just 7. So remember that. And if you're going to bet the under for this game for total points, I'd be careful because Bulls typically score um, total of 240 or more. So it should be a high scoring game, but that score is really high, and who knows after a couple day break how these teams are going to play, but they should have plenty of energy here um, and be able to keep that pace high. That's to break it down for this game. The next game is the Houston Rockets at home against the New Orleans Pelicans, and the spread for the Rockets is currently at -9 with a money line of -395. The total points over under this game is set at 218. Pelicans come in with a +9 spread and a money line of +310. They're expecting a low scoring game here, most likely because of the Pelicans not being able to score and the Rockets playing that really good defense. We're looking at offensive and defensive stats comparison here of the last 8 games. On offense, the Rockets have been averaging 108.3 points per game with an offense efficiency of 108.8. The Pelicans slightly edged them with 108.8 points per game and an efficiency of 107.4, just a little lower. The Rockets are shooting a 3-point percentage of 30.44%, which isn't great, and the Pelicans are even worse though, 27.83%. Both teams have similar effective field goal percentage, but the Rocks have a higher assist percentage at 54.6% compared to the Pelicans' 53.24%. Defensively, the Rockets have allowed 108.5 points per game, which is significantly better than the Pelicans' 119.5. The Rockets have struggled with opponents, shooting 34.97% from the three, but the Pelicans aren't that great, so it shouldn't matter too much. While the Pelicans are giving up 31.94% from the three. The Pelicans, however, have a higher pace, ranking 8th in the league, suggesting a faster, potentially high-scoring game, but we've already went through the numbers and they can't really score that great. So, I mean, might have a good pace, but they can't score. They have had crazy different lineups lately. And let's just look at the lineups. The Rockets are starting with Van Fleet, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Smith Jr. at point, power forward, and Sengun at center, though he's listed at questionable. For the Pelicans, we have Murray, Cullum, Jones, Murphy, and Messier, or however you say it, sorry. But just remember, lineups can change quickly, so check before you're placing bets, especially when you're betting with the Pelicans because their lineups have been all over the place with people in and out. But if we look at our 1,000 simulations we did for this game, the last 8 game stats, we have the Rockets having a 78.77% chance of winning with a simulated spread of -8. And then the the opposite for the Pelicans with a +8 spread, and the total points are expected to be around 223, which is above the current line at DraftKings. Um, the Rockets' stats are definitely superior with more green here, and our game cards show a lot more red for the Pelicans. Um, and the Rockets' lower turnover percentage should really stand out. This is just a bad Pelicans team, and the Rockets are playing great. Comparing current spreads with other predictive models here, we have ESPN's BPI that gives the Rockets a negative 7.9 spread, aligning close with our simulation. The point differential spread also favors Rockets at negative 10.5. And our models like the GPK model, TrueD model, and PPGA3 model all give a clear edge to the Rockets, especially when considering home game performances over the last 5 games. Based on all this data, AI has the Houston Rockets to winning this game and covering the spread. The analysts suggest they have the edge both offensively and defensively, especially in home games. Rockets are playing great, uh, but this is based on simulations, and the game of basketball can always bring surprises, as you know. But if we're going for me, I definitely feel like the Rockets should be able to pull this spread off, as they are the superior team and playing great, and they're at home, which typically leans their way. But that is all for these 2 games. My name's Jordy. You've been watching Betman Sports Betting, and I'll see you in the next video.